just bringing different people in. You have some veteran leadership and you have some winning experience, and that's a perfect storm really with the players that you already had. So I think, this can be a special season for us.
Batten down the hatches, Indiana. Something special is brewing with the Fever this season. This is Sydney Coulson, one of the Indiana Fever's many signings in a free agency that saw Caitlin Clark's team go from playoff hopefuls to championship contenders within just a few days. And Sydney may be, quietly, the biggest difference maker of all the Fever's offseason additions. Now, she doesn't get the hype of stars like wnba, Natasha Howard, or Sophie Cunningham. Those players are going to log more minutes. They're going to score more points. On paper, they're going to contribute more. But to build a championship team, you need a Sydney Coulson. She brings something unique that WNBA players know, Aces fans loved, WNBA fans on X enjoy, and now Fever fans are finding out fast. It's the kind of stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, but is essential to any championship hopeful, exactly what the Fever need. And in her first media availability, she quickly proved that she is the perfect backup for Caitlin Clark in more ways than one. By the end of this video, you'll see why she's poised to back up Caitlin Clark both on and off the court. Watch to the end and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. So, who the heck is Sydney Coulson? Like I said, she wasn't the flashiest signing of the Fever's busy offseason, but she comes with a ton of experience. In fact, Coulson is a 10-year WNBA veteran who's been just about everywhere. New York, Minnesota, Chicago, Las Vegas, and now Indiana. She's 35 years old and was originally a 2011 second-round pick out of Texas A&M, where she won an NCAA championship, which just happened to be played at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, home of the Fever. In short, Sydney's basketball journey has some serious mileage. Stat-wise, she's not a big scorer. Her career scoring average hovers in the low single digits, and last season with Las Vegas, she put up only 2.5 points per game. That's right, roughly 1 bucket a night. Not exactly the kind of number that blows up stat sheets or gets you on highlight reels. So when Indiana brought her in, she didn't generate the big buzz that names like Natasha Howard, wnba, or Sophie Cunningham did. Those are players known for filling the hoop. Coulson's signing flew under the radar for casual fans. But if you ask Aces fans, this move was significant. In fact, some said it was arguably the most surprising signing of the entire free agency period for a few reasons. It caught people off guard, in a good way, because it signaled Indiana was thinking beyond just points and rebounds. It was also viewed as a huge loss for Asia Wilson and the Aces, who are 1 year removed from back-to-back championships, and on the flip side, a massive win and a vote of confidence for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. I mean, why would a 35-year-old role player who only averaged 2.5 points be considered such a big loss for Las Vegas? The reason? Leadership.
She's going to be talking up her teammates. Look, Sydney Coulson is known for being a locker room person. A lot of people are like, oh, she's going to destroy the Fever locker room. I'm like, a player known for literally just being a locker room person and a vet is going to destroy the Fever locker room.
Sydney Coulson comes to the Fever from the Las Vegas Aces, where she won 2 WNBA championships in 2022 and 2023. She's been part of a championship culture, and more importantly, she was critical to its function. Coulson is known around the league as a phenomenal leader and a highly respected locker room voice. She's the player always talking up her teammates, keeping the energy high, and holding the group together through the ups and downs. If there was one knock on the Fever last year, it was a lack of playoff experience. Indiana had plenty of young talent, but few players who had been there, who had grinded through deep playoff runs and know what it takes to win at the highest level. The Fever lacked those battle-tested voices in the locker room who could steer the ship when things got tough. Sydney Coulson is exactly that kind of voice. Now let's be honest, she may not get a ton of time on the court. With the Aces last season, she averaged under 10 minutes per game. She wasn't a regular rotation piece in every game. But, and this is key, when she's needed, she can deliver.
And then pushing it the other way, Sydney Coulson with all kinds of confidence delivering it to Clark. Wow.
And how about not being a part?
Let's go back to the 2023 finals. In the title-clinching Game 4, the Aces were shorthanded with injuries, and Coulson was called upon out of the blue. She came off the bench and completely changed the game with her defense and poise. She finished that game with a +17 +-, in a finals game no less, helping Las Vegas secure the championship. Talk about making the most of your moment.
She played in Game 4. She played better than WNBA regular season MVP Brianna Stewart. That's a big deal.
That is the kind of performance sports legends are made of. It's one thing to be a great locker room motivator, it's another to step onto the court on the biggest stage and walk the talk. Sydney did exactly that. In limited minutes, she made a huge impact when it mattered most. Those kinds of moments cement your reputation around the league. Coaches see it, players see it, everyone knows this is a player who can be trusted in the clutch despite what the box score averages might say. And speaking of talk, Sydney is among the best in the business at it, both the motivational kind and the trash-talking, fun-loving kind.
Hey, don't worry about us. Enjoy yourself. It's a game. You deserve it, girl. Take a load up. Yeah, I'm gonna make it awkward like I always do. Hi, Miss Shirley. How you doing? I'm Sydney. Thank you.
Ask anyone on social media, Sydney Coulson's personality is elite. She's hilarious, she's quick-witted, and she's constantly engaging with fans. And throughout her career, her personality has been essential to her leadership on the court and in the locker room.
She's going to be able to lead our team. And obviously, great personality as well, brings a lot of fun and levity to the locker room. Again, that experience, knows when we need which side, right? Like the serious, the tough veteran leadership versus the, fun, playful Sid. So I think she's going to bring a lot of joy to all of our lives this season.
Fever GM Amber Cox, who, judging by that clip, is clearly a huge Sydney fan, highlighted how she knows when to be serious and when to be funny. But most importantly, she brings joy. And for anyone paying attention on X or Instagram, this comes as no surprise. Sydney is internet famous among WNBA fans for her sense of humor. She's co-starred in a comedy web series, The Sid Plus TP Show, with her friend and former teammate Teresa Plaisance, full of goofy stunts and sketches. She can dance, she can prank, she can roast. Her off-court entertainment game is all-star level. But, and this is important, her humor is never at the expense of the team's goals. As Amber said, Coulson knows when to turn it on and when to turn it off. That ability to read the room is invaluable. In her recent introductory media availability with the Fever, a lot of Indiana fans got their first taste of Sydney the Joker in action.
I won here in my senior year at Texas A&M. We played in Conseco. When it was Conseco, we won here, so it just felt like divine timing to come back.
You said they helped win you over, but you've been around the league.
Yeah.
So you've had a
Hold on now, I don't like how you said that. Like, I'm just
well, you've had the experience.
Yeah.
See what I mean? In that clip, a reporter points out that Sydney has been around the league, and she had the whole room laughing with her witty comeback. This is Coulson's charm. She immediately brings a lighthearted vibe. Her superlative would probably be most likely to say, "That's what she said."
What do you see your role being with this team then, given the roster that you're coming into?
I think similar to other places where I've been. I'm bringing veteran leadership, knowledge, energy, like swinging the defensive momentum, and just being that person that's dependable. And I'm gonna always come in and do my job, and I'm gonna be happy in my role, and I'll thrive. Whether it's 8 minutes, if it's 15 minutes, if it's 2 minutes, I'm gonna play hard and get everybody involved, and I want to win ultimately.
In that clip, you hear the flip side of Sydney's persona. She's talking about being dependable, about providing leadership and stability. She knows she's here to back up Caitlin Clark and mentor the young players. She literally spells out that her job is to show up, do her work, and set an example, to be ready whenever coach calls her number, and to keep the team glued together. Textbook professionalism. And as a longtime vet, Sydney has learned when to push the right buttons and when to provide perspective. Sometimes that means firing up the team with a passionate speech. Other times it means cracking a joke to ease tension after a tough loss. Coulson has mastered that balance.
So I just try to read situations and see when is the time to, inject some humor. Like, is it too heavy of a situation? But it doesn't need to be. Yeah, we lost y'all, but whatever, joke, insert joke here, and everybody's like, yeah, we are kind of, we're living to see another day. It'll be okay.
It's clear she understands that over a long season, a team needs both intensity and joy. Sydney brings both. So we've established that Sydney Coulson adds championship experience, veteran leadership, and an awesome personality to the Fever. That alone is a huge asset. But wait, there's more. Her presence in Indiana also says something bigger about the direction of this team, especially when it comes to their new superstar, Caitlin Clark. Now, there's a common thread between Sydney Coulson, DeWanna Bonner, and the other veterans the Fever brought in this offseason. They understand the situation in Indiana. They know exactly whose team this is. Caitlin Clark is the star. She's the face of the franchise and the league, and these vets are coming in with the mindset that they are here to work with her and help elevate her in pursuit of a championship, even if it means playing second fiddle. Sydney is clearly content in her role.
Sid, you starting for the Fever? Yeah, I'm starting on the bench. I love a good bench joke.
For players like Sydney and Dawana, who are in the twilight of their careers, the priority is 100% winning. They aren't here for personal glory or to chase stats. They've done all that. They want another ring, and they know that means fitting into Caitlin's system, leveraging her talent and supporting her rise. It's a selfless, team-first mentality across the board.
What made the Fever the right choice for you in free agency?
A lot of things. It was Amber and Kelly, Stephanie, Kelsey I played with at Athletes Unlimited for several years. Love Caitlin's game, love Aaliyah's game. It made sense. I made this decision mentally before DB and Natasha were even a part of the mix.
In this press conference clip, Sydney revealed that she had essentially made her decision to join the Fever mentally even before free agency officially began. She knew, even before Indiana went out and signed big names like Bonner and Howard, that she wanted to be part of this team. Think about that. Coulson decided, I want to play in Indiana, knowing full well that this team would be built around a very young star, Caitlin. That speaks volumes. She saw something brewing in Indiana, the Caitlin Clark effect, and wanted in on it from the jump. And this is the key difference between this upcoming season and last season for the Fever. Last season, Caitlin Clark, as a rookie, was essentially stepping into a pre-existing situation. She was the new kid on the block, a newcomer on a team that hadn't yet adjusted to having a generational talent on board. The coaching staff, led by Christy Sides, and most players were holdovers from before Caitlin arrived. It often felt like Caitlin had to fit into their system instead of the system being built around her. A lot of fans were perplexed, to put it kindly, with how Caitlin was used last year. Many felt she was being mishandled or at least underutilized by Coach Sides. The team struggled, and you could sense some disconnect in fully unleashing Caitlin's abilities. But this season, it's a whole new ballgame. Now the new players joining the Fever are coming because of Caitlin. The team is being restructured around her. She's not just a piece of the puzzle, she's the centerpiece that everything else is fitting around.
Finds Bonner. Bonner outside. Bonner on the crossover. Bonner moving to her right. High arching three on the way! DB cashes in from deep.
Dawana Bonner, for example, reportedly turned down the Phoenix Mercury and Minnesota Lynx to sign with Indiana. Why? Because she felt the Fever, with Caitlin at the helm and a promising young core, actually have the best chance of winning in the near future. When a veteran of Bonner's caliber says, I choose the Fever, you know something special is happening. These veterans believe in Caitlin's star power and what this team can become. And you can see that belief in Sydney's demeanor as well. The enthusiasm and respect she has for what's being built in Indy are palpable. Coulson is genuinely hyped about playing with Caitlin and the rest of this young squad. You can hear it in her voice when she talks about the team.
When you look at this roster, what do you see?
Oh, I see young players that are super hungry to win and very competitive. I think that second half of the season last year, a lot of people didn't want to see the Fever in the playoffs because you saw how they changed things after the All-Star break. They were gelling much better together. They kind of had a better understanding of things. Like, it was a lot them adjusting to Caitlin adjusting to the rest of the team. But when they got going in the second half, and now with the addition of, some veterans who have won, and Dawana Bonner and Natasha Howard, just bringing different people in, you have some veteran leadership and you have some winning experience, and that's a perfect storm really with the players that you already had. So I think, this can be a special season for us.
In that interview clip, Sydney basically gushes about her new teammates. She mentions how the Fever's young players are super hungry and how no one wanted to face Indiana down the stretch of last season. Now, adding in veteran experience, she says it's going to be a special season. You can feel her excitement. She's like, this team has energy, it has talent, and now it has the vets to tie it all together. The phrase perfect storm was thrown around, and it truly could be. It's like all the ingredients for a breakout year are coming together at the right time. So we know Sydney Coulson will be a great fit in the locker room. We know she'll come up big on the court whenever she's called upon. But there's something else she brings, something even bigger off the court that could impact not just the Fever, but how people view Caitlin Clark and her fan base across the league.
Sid Coulson coming to Indiana, who I, by the way, think is kind of the bridge of the old guard and the new guard, as, she was on the Aces, which seems to be kind of like a favored old guard team, and now is on the Indiana Fever, the favored new guard team. And being able to have perspectives and love for both does kind of like bridge the gap a little bit, and I don't know, I'm pretty hopeful.
Sydney Coulson might just be the bridge between the old guard and the new guard in the WNBA. What does that mean? Well, Sydney's been around a long time and is well respected by longtime fans and veteran players, including many who, frankly, haven't been too fond of all the hype around Caitlin Clark or her fans. Let's be real, Caitlin's arrival and the massive attention around her has been a bit of a culture shock in some WNBA circles. You have the old guard, fans and players who have been around for a while and helped grow the game slowly but surely over the years. Some of them have felt like the Caitlin mania overshadows the achievements of established WNBA players, because let's face it, Caitlin's impact and popularity has absolutely dwarfed anything the WNBA has experienced. There's been tension, whether it's grumblings on social media about Fever games being moved to bigger arenas just for Caitlin, or snark about her fans. I've talked about it a lot on my channel. It tends to get ugly. Basically, there's a divide. The new wave of fans drawn in by Caitlin's stardom, who want Caitlin's accomplishments to be acknowledged, versus the longtime loyalists who want respect for the history and other stars of the league. Enter Sydney Coulson, a player who has earned her stripes in the league and earned the love of the old school WNBA community, yet now finds herself on Team Caitlin. This is a golden opportunity to foster some peace and understanding between those groups, including her agent. Sydney can be that mediator in a sense. She's someone the veterans trust, and the young fans will come to adore. If she embraces Caitlin and the hoopla around her, it might encourage others to do the same. Here's an important fact. Sydney chose to sign with Indiana on her own accord. Nobody forced her or overpaid her absurdly to be here. She wanted to be here, fully aware that this team revolves around a 23-year-old superstar with a rabid fan following. That tells you that the narrative of vets don't want to play with Caitlin or deal with her fans isn't true, at least not for Sydney, and clearly not for others like Bonner either. Coulson is actually excited about playing in front of the Fever faithful and alongside this new phenomenon.
Your impressions of the people and the facilities that now will be home.
I'm super excited about it. I'm going from a team that was a very in the media, like people were excited to watch us, into another team that is arguably the most talked about team in sports right now, especially in women's sports. So this fan base, it's exciting to be a part of a team that has a lot of positive energy around it. I hear and see the things that people say, but I know the true Indiana Fever fans, the ones that love basketball, that they love the WNBA, I'm excited to be playing in front of them and just with this team.
Sydney straight up acknowledges, "I've seen and heard what people say about the fans." She's openly addressing the elephant in the room. She knows people out there have been bad-mouthing the Fever fan base. And what does she say next? Essentially, "I'm happy to play in front of the true Indiana Fever fans who love basketball." Now, I'm sure a lot could be derived from this. It sounds like she could be implying that there are Fever fans who slam the WNBA in the course of defending Caitlin Clark, which again is usually paired with the old guard dismissing Caitlin's impact. Of course, as a WNBA veteran, Sydney doesn't want Fever fans insulting the WNBA, the league she's been a part of for over a decade. But I take her comment to be a ceasefire of sorts. She's telling the fan base, "I know you're real basketball fans and I'm excited to play for you." She acknowledged the positive vibes and wants to keep them going. At the same time, she's acting as an ambassador for Indiana's supporters, new and old. She's heard the chatter and is like, let's prove the naysayers wrong. By doing that, Coulson is taking a step toward healing that rift. She's validating the new wave of enthusiasm, which mostly centers on Caitlin, and showing respect to the existing Fever fans who have been around, while at the same time acknowledging the noise that surrounds them and focusing on positivity. Her becoming a representative and champion of the Fever fan base could be a small step towards some semblance of harmony between the Caitlin crowd and the longtime WNBA loyalists. And don't we all want that? Caitlin Clark's fans want to see her respected by the broader community. The old guard of WNBA fans and players want their legacy respected and not forgotten amid the new hype. There's room for both. As long as everyone's contributions are acknowledged, which includes giving Caitlin her due credit, there's no reason both sides can't grow the league together. It's not like Caitlin herself hasn't paid respect. She's constantly giving flowers to those who came before her. If the Fever can blend these elements successfully, this season could be fantastic, not just for Indiana, but as a showcase of how the WNBA is evolving in a positive way. There's a lot to be excited about with the Fever's revamped roster and with the league as a whole. New stars, veteran stars, all coming together, and Sydney Coulson is right in the middle of it, helping it all gel. So buckle up, because this could truly be a special season in Indiana. The team has the talent, the leadership, and yes, the vibes to make some noise. And Sydney Coulson might just be the secret sauce that makes everything click. If you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments to let me know you hung around till the end. Thanks for watching.